All right. Well, me and Angie has been married now for going on 20. How many years? 22 years. Um, Starting out in marriage, we was young. I wasn't in the church. She grew up in the church. Me, I was more of a party person, so to say, and marriage became, we had our struggles. In the first 5 years of marriage, there was a lot of infidelity on my part, and with me hanging out, and it came to a point where we separated and we thought about getting a divorce.
As my husband had stated earlier in his part of the interview, we started out extremely young, but we both had a love and a passion for each other. But a love and a passion without God can get lost, especially when you hit hard times in marriage. Our first 5 years, things were good. The first two, I was in the church, and I did a lot of nagging to try and get my husband to follow me to church revivals. But at that time, it was just there was a disconnect between the two of us. And I believed in the power of prayer because I was always taught to pray. But I did more nagging again than I did praying. Or I would pray some and then nag more. And eventually, the weight of all of that and then the infidelity, it was extremely hard for me as a woman to accept the fact that in my mind, it was that I had shared my husband with somebody else. And for a woman, the hurt that you feel, the resentment that you feel, and I would just be honest, the hatred that I had towards my spouse was just unsurmountable. And what we did was we decided to separate, go our separate ways. So for 2.5 years, we didn't see each other. We never talked. We were right in the same town, but we never ran into each other. I received a letter in the mail at my mom's house. Well, actually, I got served with final divorce papers. My husband had served on me, and we had a court date. And at that court date, I remember getting to the courthouse, the Anderson courthouse, about 30 minutes early. And for some reason on this particular morning, there was not a car going up and down Main Street, which is totally unusual. But it was completely silent. And I sat on the courthouse steps, and I remember saying, God, let your will be done today. And whatever your will is, I'll be okay. And we got into the courthouse hearing. My husband was with his lawyer. I was with my lawyer. They asked our lawyers to approach the bench. The judge had came out behind chambers, and he came out and wanted to see both of our lawyers there. And so everybody was just kind of just waiting in limbo. And then at that time, he said for some reason he couldn't explain it, but something had came up, and there was no way he could hear our case that day. And we would have to do a continuance. I think my husband was angry. I was in disbelief, not knowing what the next step was going to be. And in between the judge saying he couldn't hear our case that particular day, 2.5 months went by, and God started to work not only in my husband's life, but my life. And within a 2.5 month span, we had reconciled before the next court date.
As we approached the courthouse, God stepped in and said, this is not going to happen. And everything from there has been putting God first, and he's changed everything about our marriage. And like I said, now going on 17 years, we've still had our little struggles, but it's not nearly as bad as it was in the beginning. So, and I give all praises to God.
And I'm just a living witness to the power of God and what prayer can do. I encourage any woman that feels like you can't do this, you can't recover from adultery. Yes, you can. You yourself can't, but if you just allow your yes to God to be more than anything, He'll help you. It's going to be days when you're going to hurt. There'll be days when you feel like you made the wrong choices for returning, but trust the yes that you gave to God. and be willing to do the work that it takes to make a good marriage. It's a process. It's just like grief. You go through different stages. But for me as a woman, what I had to do was when I felt like speaking out against him, when I felt like letting the harsh words fight my battle that particular day, you just got to know, you just got to grab hold to whatever you can grab hold to. Keep your mouth closed. That's the biggest thing. I did a lot of talking in the beginning of marriage. And sometimes for a man, the less you say, the better it is. Praying to God will change him quicker than any argument, anything that you can say negative to him. Take that same mouthful of hate and take it to God, and I promise you he'll work it out.
Y'all would want to say to somebody?
Probably would say that, there's probably people that's going through the same situations, but if our testimony shows that through God that you can make it, then there's a chance that, you can make it in yours too.
And I would just like to encourage any woman that's experienced that kind of hurt, keep as many people out of your marriage as you possibly can. There's only going to be about 1 or 2 people that you do need, and that's only through spiritual guidance. Coming to Mount Zion and Pastor Dean and Mercedes Dean, they were lifelines for us, whether they knew it or not. But the ministry poured into us. Our will to want to and to stay together was another thing. But just keep as many people out of your marriage as possible. Don't talk negative about your spouse. That can kill your marriage. It'll kill anything that you're trying to have together. Whenever women do approach you, or you might hear the negative, I can't believe she stayed with him or he stayed with her, or vice versa, you got to be willing to shut it out. Know that what you two are working on and building for is greater than anything, any negativity that can ever come against you. And I promise you, I am a living witness. I am more blessed now than I was in 1994. I'm reaping the benefits of that hurt season. So just don't waste your brokenness.